so it does not, great, so that it does not interfere with the recording. Please be sure you are muted wherever you are so that we can have a very smooth recording. You can leave your video on, but please be sure you are muted, except we come to the Q&A session where you can ask. Please be sure you are muted wherever you are. So, hi, I'm Chevening, and I have Melissa with me from University of Warwick. I'm in the Robert Gordon University. Hi, Melissa.
Hello, everyone. Hi, Chevening.
Great. So we are awesome. So we are here to help you provide very helpful advice that would improve your Chevening experience or to help you to the Chevening application point. At this point, I strongly believe you already know what Chevening is, so we are not going through what Chevening is or what it is not. If you are a scholar, I believe the honest lies on you to go and research. And I'll also give a caveat that whatever we are saying is our personal opinion. This is not the official position of Chevening. So I would crave your indulgence. I would advise everyone on call to always refer back to chevening.org. You can even do a Google search, type Chevening Ghana Scholarship. Then you can go to the official FAQs page and have your questions addressed. This is just a scholar's opinion myself and Melissa. So we are just offering our personal opinion on our personal journey. So this does not reflect the official position of Chevening. These are just helpful tips we think can help enrich your application process and experience and make you a better scholar. So if you have any question or any official concern, kindly direct it to Chevening or please go to the official Chevening website. So that being said, let's get started. This is just a code that there are scholarships and really there's fellowship, but there's Chevening. It's really the best of both worlds. It gives you this scholarly and fellowship experience all in one. Another person summarized it as the 1 year that changes your life for good, or it just sets your career on a very strong path. You know, sometimes it may take you 5 years to get into Chevening, and that 1 year Chevening changes your life. So that's the whole thing about the Chevening experience. The process of Chevening. Melissa, can you take us through this?
Melissa, you're on mute.
You're muted.
Sorry. So I think this is the recent one that opened, 3rd August.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
So I would say Chevening takes like almost a year to complete. So you just need to be dedicated and just be on full throttle during the process. So the applications obviously open on the 3rd of August, and it would close on the 2nd of November. There are times that they extend due to some technical difficulty when people experience, so they tend to extend it a bit, but just work towards 2nd November or even before that. So you should be writing your essays by now. And after that, there's an eligibility shifting. That's where they check if your application was right. You meet the eligibility criteria. You didn't miss any of the questions. So this part might seem a little unserious, but it's really, really serious. If you don't go through this stage, if you don't dot your I's, if you don't cross your T's, you're going to miss the next stage. So you really, really need to pay attention to this part as well. Okay, that's on 3rd November. Then early to mid-February 2022, that's when you get emails if you've been shortlisted for an interview. You would also receive an email if you've not been shortlisted for the interview. So you need to keep an eye for that during February. Now we move on to your submission of references and other documents. So I would say by now you should have given your lecturers or your tutors in your past education centers, like give them heads up about the references. Okay, that's your referees. Yes, you need to let them know that, okay, this is what you're doing. You don't walk up to them or call them like a day before submission telling them that you need a reference. No, it's not done that way anywhere. So you need to give them heads up so that they can prepare. And also you have to prepare your documents, your educational documents to submit. So by now you should be doing that as well. Then we move on to the next one. So early June, that's when people are People are anticipating for the results. People are just like, it's nerve-wracking. You don't know where your fate lies at this point. So during that time, people will be receiving that you've actually been selected and or not selected. And 14th July, you have the offer. 14th July, you should have had an unconditional letter from your school. And there's always this question that people ask, that do I need to apply to the schools before I apply to Chevening? And the answer is no, you don't have to. If you have the opportunity or the time to do that quickly and continue. But if you don't, no worries, just start with your application. But you can be doing your application to the schools concurrently. You don't need to wait after you apply, before you apply to the school. You can do that concurrently. So you need to be very swift and very accurate during the Chevening process, and read a lot. Okay, read a lot. Nobody's going to spoon feed you. You need to go on the FAQs. You need to ask lots of questions, the right questions to the right people. Then you would get your answers. Okay, so 14th July is when you get the unconditional offer. And September, October, that's when studies start. It depends on your school. You might start in October, you might start in November. Okay, so during the Chevening process, you need to be working hand in hand with your school as well. So I think basically that's it. It's not a very tedious thing, but you need to be very, very fast and dedicated to it.
Great.
Chevening, Cherubim, if you have anything.
You've already said it all. It takes almost a year. So this is the timeline. And you can find all this information on the official Chevening website. So just don't take our word for it or our word for it. So we'll just quickly delve into the essence of our presentation. Key is your essays. They are in 4 parts. So I'll take you through, or Melissa and I will take you through what had been the reviewers' comments mainly over the past year. So these are really key concerns from the reviewers. So let's get started. So the first essay you'll be writing is called the leadership and your influence essay. And by now, I believe you listening to me, by now you should believe you are a leader or you have exhibited leadership quality. If maybe your actions or your words or your inactions inspire anybody to do anything, then technically you are a leader. That's, to me, my best definition of leadership. Now, these are the strengths of some of the previous leadership essays as per the reviewers. Now, they mentioned that the best scoring applicants demonstrated clear examples of leadership and influencing with very concrete results. So it's not just about showing your leadership potential at this point. It's also about showing your leadership potential and also showing it with very concrete results. And I think this is a key part to the whole Chevening process. It's not just going to say, okay, I occupy this position. In my essay, I was a leader, I was this, I was SRC president, I was general secretary, I did this. It's the ability to prove the result which you achieve. So I was the SRC president who led a school fees negotiation, and that led to an X or Y% decrease in school fees. Or I was the SRC president that championed the building of a new SRC, how do you call it, hostel or something. So you should always be able to back your leadership or influence position or opportunities with very concrete results. And when you go quantitatively, you can't go wrong when you're able to demonstrate that this is what you've done. And here are some of the weaknesses as demonstrated. Most people don't combine successful leadership qualities with evidence. So people, that's to say, people just make claims. Okay, I was a leader at this place, I was this, I was that. And there's always no backing evidence in the essay. So if you are working on your leadership and influence essay, be very sure you put out, you are able to show the evidence of any successful leadership you've had. So the essence of the successful leadership, I believe, should be evidence as per the essays. And each essay is just 500 words. So you have just 500 words to convince the panel why you should be shortlisted for an interview, or you should be taken to the next round. Then the other thing is most people did not. Hello, there's a sound, so I'll just pause. When the sound is gonna continue. SPA, I think there's a sound coming from your side. Can you mute yourself, please?
Yeah, he's on mute now. Yeah.
Okay, so most people did not combine, they did not talk about their recent experiences. What happens is a lot of people, they have what I would call past glory. So their last leadership experience, or they think leadership is only a positional title. So they will make a reference back to their JHS days when they were the pound prefect. And they've forgotten that in your work, in your career, you may not necessarily have the title of a leader, but you can influence people in a certain way. If you've inspired your office to go for a walk, a marathon, to go plant trees, that's influence. So people don't use a lot of recent professional examples. They only fall back on their old JSS days glory or their SHS days glory, or some even their university or tertiary days glory. So this one key thing the reviewers also made mention of. And also lastly, there was a lot of emphasis on positional leadership and influence. And leadership is beyond the title. Hi, Marius Donna. Can you please mute yourself? Marius Donna Kino. Kindly mute yourself, please. So there's been a lot of emphasis on only positional titles. So people just name drop. I was the this, I was that, my position was this. And they fail to focus on the influence that they exerted having that position. So if you are working on your leadership and influence essay, hi Marius, can you please mute yourself?
Marius is on mute. I'm sure it's Sandy. Sandy, please mute yourself. All right.
Guys, please, everyone listening to me, kindly mute yourself. Kindly mute yourself. Ignatius, kindly mute yourself as well, please. Okay, so if you're working on your leadership and influence essay by now, you should not fall in these weaknesses as highlighted by the former reviewers. Always learn to combine your leadership with evidence and also talk more about your recent professional experience. You only have 500 words to make that mark. So don't go way back to way back. This is not a throwback session. Your throwback should be more recent. And also know the difference between positional leadership and just an influence. So don't, by the fact that you were the SRC president, does not mean you made any influence. That's just a positional title. What you made out of it is the influence Chevening is looking for. Now, Melissa, do you have anything to add to this?
Yeah, Cherubim, I think you've highlighted most of it, but I would just add a little to it. As Cherubim said, it is not just about the title. It goes beyond that. Chevening is looking for impact because at the end of the day, they want you to come back and help change your country. So what did you do for them to know that, okay, this is the right person for us to sponsor in order to learn and come back and help the country? So as he mentioned earlier, it's not about being the school prefect or doing this. I always say, Google what leadership means or who a leader is. You see all the qualities of a leader. A leader is empathetic. A leader is influential. A leader is emotional intelligence. So all these qualities, you look at them and you see, oh, where have I been suited best in these qualities? Okay, so being an emotional intelligent person, or there was probably like a dispute at work, but through your emotional intelligence or something specific reason, you were able to help solve the particular issue. Okay, so it's not just about the title. You need to find something that you have impacted on, you get me, at your workplace, at school. And Chevening is interested in recent things, like every day, what impact do you make? Okay, so you need to show a lot of the recent things that you have done as well. Yeah.
Great. Thank you, Mel. So we move on to the next essay. That will be your, one last thing. A lot of people do this mistake. When you go to the leadership essay, and I'm reviewing certain essays, and I see this all through the years. What they do is that they spend like 200 words on leadership is this, and Nelson Mandela said leadership is that, and Martin Luther said leadership is this, and this Miles Monroe said leadership is that and that and that. Chevening cares less. People spend too much time defining what leadership is. That's not what they are looking for. They are looking for what leadership is or the evidence of leadership in your life. So don't waste time. I've seen a lot of this. People just spend the whole time defining leadership. And this guy said, and this guy quoted. No, those things are needless. You have only 500 words, only 500 words. So you have to be very prudent in your choice of words. You don't have to waste time defining what leadership is. Chevening also already knows what leadership is. So it's not your definition that will make any difference to the reviewers. And if you do that, you might put yourself out as one of the weak people, as the previous reviewers noted. So the leadership definitions are too much. Mel, do you have anything for that?
Yes, I mean, you've mentioned it all. Like, you don't need to tell Chevening what leadership is. They know. You see, at the end of the day, they want a unique story. They've heard all that. They want your story. How compelling can your story be for them to, okay, say this person is most deserving of the award? You need to create a story that will enchant someone to read more and more and more. So don't stick to basic sentences. Give them a story. That's all I would say.
Okay,
Absolutely.
so please let me come in small. Please also just join. Please mute yourself. And if you have any question, just drop it in a chat box, okay, so that we will have them after the presentation. So don't wait and forget them. Just put them in the chat box. We will read them out for scholars to answer for you. Thank you.
Great. Thank you, Bernice. Thank you, Mel. So we move on to the next essay, which is the networking essay. This is also a tricky one. One of the key strengths that reviewers realize is that there's been unique and diverse ways of maintaining networks, and also discuss how they facilitated the networking. So what they're trying to say is that Chevening will require you to write an essay on how you've been able to network and how your networking has been very impactful and influential. So they realized that people who made a cut, they found unique and diverse ways of maintaining those networks. And also, they also mentioned how they facilitated the networking. So they went ahead to describe not only how they were able to network with people, but they've also been able to say how they keep the network going. Let me give an example. For example, one way I keep my network going is that every quarter I check up on every professional contact I've made that I really want to continue with, especially on LinkedIn. It's a personal practice I do. If I have a full chat list of people that every quarter at least I say hi, so that in a year, at the end of the year, it doesn't look I'm just saying hello, Merry Christmas or something. It's one of my professional professional practice that I always check up on. Go ahead, Mel.
Or your professional goals.
Yes. So that's one way I used to facilitate my networking. So that's one strength that they noticed. So you don't even have to say exactly what I said, but I hope you get the flow. And also another weakness they realized in the networking is that a few people expanded on building their networking experience. So they never spoke about how they build their experience. Networking is not it's a process. It's not an end result. People only focus on the fact that I've sent essays, so I invited the president to my event. And then what? How did you invite the president? You could go to say, okay, you knew this person who you did national service with, who later became the chief of staff, who was working in the office of the president. So you were able to use that network to invite the president, other than just saying you invited the president. To say you were inviting the president is just like a name dropping. So you might want to expand on how you build those your networking experience. Another thing is that a lot of people just say this easily. I joined LinkedIn. Joining LinkedIn is not a strong point in itself. Joining LinkedIn, anybody can join LinkedIn. In fact, everybody has joined LinkedIn. How are you able to use LinkedIn to advance your corporate goals? How are you able to use LinkedIn as a leader? How are you able to use LinkedIn to improve your networking and your leadership influence? That's what Chevening is looking for. Not just saying you join LinkedIn or you use Facebook well. And people do that a lot. They just name drop. They've been able to chat with this person on LinkedIn, or they've been able to connect with this person. But that in itself is not what Chevening is looking for. They are looking for how you've been able to build that network. And also, they realize also the difficulty in connecting the notions of networking with very clear examples of using them at work. Let me give a practical example here. So people will say they've connected with this person, but that doesn't have a telling on what they are doing. So hi, can you please mute yourself, please? Can everyone mute themselves? I'm hearing these sounds in my background. Please mute yourself. Hello, everyone on call, please mute yourself. Okay, so they've noticed this challenge of people connecting the notions of their networking with examples of using them at work. So for example, you are working, in my instance like this, my passion is digital skills. I'm a digital transformation. So everything about me is digital. So if I'm able to meet someone like, say, President Obama, there has to be a telling on how I've been able to advance that network to increase my personal career goal of maybe being a digital marketing strategist, or how do I advance the goal of improving Ghana's digital economy efforts, or how do I advance the goal of improving digital skills literacy in Ghana, or how do I advance digital inclusion in Ghana. There always has to be a telling between some of the people you're networking and what you're currently doing. And it feels like a lot of people who didn't make the cut last year, that was what was missing. They didn't connect the notions of their next.
Say, please mute yourself. The host just muted everyone. I don't know why yours is still unmuted anymore. Vince, please mute yourself for us, please. If not, we would have to take you off.
Sorry for that.
Okay. I think you've actually said a lot about the networking part. I mean, this networking is quite a tricky thing. It's one of the essays that I think, in my opinion, you should really, really look at it. I just joined LinkedIn, I know, but it goes way more than that. Okay, so maybe through network, you've been able to make an impact in someone's life. Okay, so networking is two ways. I always say you help someone, and sometimes someone helps you.
No, like just muting yourself. Is it so difficult to do? Is it new people joining who are just leaving their mics on? It makes the flow not really fluid. Please and please, if you can hear me, kindly mute yourself. Okay, so this is about the networking bit. Now the next essay is studying the UK, and this is where it comes in. I believe everybody has their personal reason of studying the UK. Maybe some of you want to visit your favorite Manchester United or Liverpool, or other reasons. Everybody has their own reason. One of the strengths they realize since I chose Robert Gordon University was that the course outline was very perfect for me. One of the key learnings I really chose that course for was, oh, there's someone still unmuted.
I'm asking the host to remove him, and then he can come back later.
Thank you, Richard. So studying in the UK, as I said, I was given an example of myself. So what I did was that I was able to spell out that particular course and the impact that course will have in a project I'm currently doing. And that course is digital PR. So I've been able to take a very clear focus on one of the study outcomes I will have at even that course level and also the institution level. So the institution level is the university. So there's a reason I even chose to come study in Aberdeen, because I wanted to visit an innovation park, which is just in town. So Aberdeen has some energy and innovation park in town, which I've paid a lot of visits to. So you might want to go beyond just the normal things and be very specific with the study outcomes of each of your chosen university. Chevening will give you the chance to choose 3 universities. So for each university, be able to detail what you do with the study outcome of what you become of what you become when you come to study in the UK. Don't just leave it at a very phasey, like on the fringes level. Be very specific. And also, they noticed that there were distinct paragraphs discussing various courses. So if you I chose a course, let's say I chose a course in University of Manchester, I chose another course in Robert Gordon, and I chose another course in University of South Wales. So I'm able to advance in paragraphs, clear argument why I want to choose this course. So my first example could be in paragraph 1, another is in paragraph 2, another is in paragraph 3. So it's not mashed up, it's not merged, it's really distinct. And that was one key of the people who made it. Let's look at those who didn't make it, or some of the weaknesses. They didn't specify their chosen university or demonstrate an awareness of any key details from within their field. So it was phasey. It was phased. Like, for example, you could say, okay, I just want to do MBA. MBA is broad. There are a lot of specializations to an MBA. There could be marketing, there could be HR, there could be finance, there could be, and now even there are more leading. Even in the marketing, I even see marketing too broad. There are phases of marketing you can even master. So don't just leave it at a level where you're just coming to do an MBA. No, be very specific with why you chose a specific school. Be very specific. So very reputed in oil and gas and business courses, RG, Robert Gordon University, or you chose University of Warwick because they are a top business school in Europe, or you chose University of Oxford because their law school is reputed across the world. Or so advance the reasons for your chosen universities, and also be very detailed about your field. Find where your career is and where that degree is taking your career to. So there should always be that connection, not just leave things at the I chose to study this course because of this or that. Be able to advance the arguments to that point so that you don't fall into the weaknesses they have mentioned. And also, there's been no coherent reason for diverse course subjects. And personally, this is a caveat though, but this is my personal advice. I will not advise anybody to choose 3 different courses. Chevening will not take you as direct as it is, because that's why it's even more incoherent, because it's very difficult. It's almost extremely difficult to justify why in your first choice you chose to do MBA, and then your second choice you chose to do energy, oil and gas management, and then your third choice you chose to do let's say you chose to do media studies. These are almost 3 unrelated fields. So in choosing Chevening, as much as possible, let your courses be the same in all 3 universities, or very, very close. The similarity should only be maybe by how the universities are dictating how that course is studied, as much as possible. Don't go for very unrelated courses. Then you will never have any coherence, because how do you explain that you will be a police officer in the morning, become a military officer, and then join the army in the afternoon, which is even possibly easier, and then become a civilian in the evening? There's that incoherence. So to save yourself all those incoherent babbling, just don't go for diverse courses. Stay in your lane. If you want to do PR, choose digital PR school 2, digital PR school 3. If you want to do digital marketing, you can choose, let's say, digital marketing and strategy as 1, digital marketing communications as 2, and also digital marketing as 3. At least they are closely related. So stick with very related course subjects. That's my personal. And then one mistake people also do is this: they cut and paste from university promotional material. And let me even talk about cut and paste in the first place. People, when you cut and paste for Chevening, you are cutting yourself short, because you can imagine I think last year, our time was it 64,000 applicants. So 64,000 essays, and they chose only 1,002 of us. That's like a little over less than 5%. So you can imagine their database of storing previous essays. So plagiarizing somebody's essay in the past or copying something from the internet, they have a Turnitin system that will check it. So you are shooting yourself in the foot. They want original, unique stories from you. So cutting and pasting information from the university promotional material is wrong, in the sense that some people just go on the school's website, the school they are going, and then they copy things. Let's say this course is to equip graduates to become world-class citizens. Sometimes those things are vague. You might want to advance it to your personal career. So this course will help me in the next 2 years lead the Greater Accra municipality to achieve the SDG goal of sanitation by so and so time, by so and so date. That's even a bit more practical. You've brought the course to your practical level. Don't just speak. And some people also just name drop university professors because they pick information on the website. Chevening is saying these are elements or these are features of very weak essays. Melissa, I'll leave it to you to conclude on the study in the UK essays. Hi, Melissa. Okay. I think until she joins us, I'll just carry on, and then when she comes back, she'll continue. So let's move on to the final essay bit, which is the career plan. So I mentioned there are 4 essays in all. So we've tackled 3. So the last one is the career plan essay. So this is what has been the strength over the previous year. So people have been able to advance a clear, specific goals, which are therefore more convincing and achievable. So your career plan, usually we all know about the short term, medium term, and long term. And short term could mean 1 to maximum 3 years. Medium term could be 3 years to maximum 6 years. And then long term could be 6 years to say 10 years. So a fair 10-year career plan is cool. So the best essays have been able to lay out specific goals they are achieving in their career. So I want to achieve this by this date, and you have a specific date to it. So in the short term, I want to go back to Ghana, work with my same company, do X, Y, Z. And then in the medium term, I would like to become an adjunct lecturer whilst I'm working on my PhD. And then in the long term, I want to lecture so that I can impact the lives of so and so in this field, because my field has a deficit of lecturers, and that's new knowledge being denied current students. So that's why we may even have student unemployment in entrepreneurship and innovation. I'm just giving an instance. So you've been able to outline specific and concrete goals. And also, they also notice that some of the goals are not convincing or even achievable in the end. So your career plan, these things are free. Your goal is your goal. Nobody can decide your goal for you. So it should be easy. Now, the weaknesses, they've also advanced at this. There's been no strong rationale, which made a very potential clear career path very steady in the UK plan. So a bit of an overview of your leadership experience. So that's what they mean here by the rationale. So for example, if you're really an ambitious person, and then they come in your leadership essay, or say your networking, and then they come to your career plan and you are saying that you want to be the first Ghanaian to go to Spain.